Hello everyone. In this video here, this is a video response to one of my subscribers by the name of Crazy Lassie. Okay, she had a question about Chinese and Japanese. I guess she's learning Japanese now, and she wants to know the difference as far as difficulty. If I make a comparison between Chinese and Japanese, what makes Chinese more difficult than Japanese, what makes Japanese more difficult than Chinese, etc. So today what I'm going to do is just let you guys see how I compare these two languages. And also, for those of you who are interested in learning Chinese or Japanese, say you choose to learn Chinese first, and you're thinking about learning Japanese, but you don't know which one to learn first. I will suggest, let's say if you haven't started on any of the languages, you should start learning Chinese first. And the reason is both Chinese and Japanese, they use kanji, which are Chinese characters. They both use Chinese characters. And if you start learning Chinese first, you spend some time on Chinese, you don't really have a choice in Chinese to learn the kanji Chinese characters. So after time goes by, you will have learned a lot of characters, so you will be used to it, and it won't be overwhelming when you start Japanese. The only difference is the grammar. So I would suggest learning Chinese first, and then learn Japanese, because you will have a pretty good knowledge of the characters. Despite Japanese having their own kanji that Chinese don't use, it still won't be overwhelming. So I will start Chinese first and then do Japanese. Now in my case, I didn't do that. I didn't plan to learn Chinese first then Japanese. Originally, I just wanted to learn Chinese and that's it. But I eventually ended up learning Japanese because I was meeting some Japanese people and I didn't know the language, and I figured that it would be, ideal to start learning Japanese. So that's what I did. But for those of you who are just starting learning languages, I would suggest start with Chinese first, spend at least a year on it. If you don't have any language learning experience, spend at least a year on Chinese, and then go learn Japanese. Now if you guys have language learning experience, you can do, if you're like me, you can do them at the same time. So that's my suggestion. That's what you should do. Learn Chinese first and learn Japanese. Now, what makes Chinese more difficult than the Japanese? I think it's just the characters. The characters is what makes Chinese more difficult than Japanese. Oh, and the pronunciation and tonations, of course. Other than that, that's the only thing that makes Chinese more difficult than Japanese. Now, if you're in English, if your native language is English or any other language close to English grammatically, then I think it will really be easy for you to learn Chinese, because the grammar is SVO, subject verb object. So it won't be too difficult for you to learn the Chinese language. Let's see here. Japanese. What makes Japanese more difficult than Chinese? I would say the grammar, of course. The grammar is completely different from Chinese. It's the SOV, that's subject object verb language, and you just have to get used to the structure and different particles, because see, in Chinese they don't use particles like Japanese. They don't use particles like that. So you have to get used to these particles and used to the structure. So that's what makes Japanese more difficult than Chinese. Japanese also has an alphabet, which is not it's not too difficult. It doesn't take that long to master the alphabet. So overall, I don't know. Some people ask me overall, which language would you choose? I mean, I'm already learning Chinese and Japanese, so I would just choose both languages. I like both languages. I enjoy both languages. I don't discriminate against anything. I love both languages. Okay, and if you learn Chinese on the board back here, I want to show you guys. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that makes Chinese more difficult. They have these two different writing systems. They have the traditional system, and they have the simplified system, simplified characters. Now, you will find traditional characters being used throughout Taiwan, Malaysia, Hong Kong. Those places, they use the traditional characters. I've written, let's see here. the top part here, both the same meaning, but these are written. These are all the traditional characters. This is a traditional character, and this is a traditional character. Now down here, these two, they're the same. There's a simplified and this is simplified. Okay, so this is what makes it more difficult in Japanese as well, because you have two different systems and two different types of Romanized systems. Okay, I would suggest learning both systems at the same time. Okay, if you learn Chinese, learn both systems. Now first, you don't have to do them at the same time. You don't have to, well actually you don't have to do them at the same time. Just go ahead and learn the pinyin. I would start with the pinyin, because normally people start with the pinyin. I guess it depends on where you learn Chinese. If you learn Chinese in Taiwan, they're gonna have you learn Bopomofo first. If you learn Chinese in the States or in mainland China, they're gonna have you do the pinyin. So I guess I would recommend starting with the pinyin. I mean, it's up to you basically. If you want to learn Bopomofo first, then I'll go ahead and learn Bopomofo. Pinyin. The thing about pinyin, you will find more resources on this pinyin here, and it's hard to find resources on Bopomofo. So, I mean, you can find some online, but there are more resources for learning pinyin than the Bopomofo. Okay, because if you go to a bookstore, order a book online, Chinese, teach yourself Chinese, it's all in the pinyin. So, I guess I would just say go ahead and just learn pinyin first, and it's not that hard. It won't take you. It should take you a couple weeks. Probably not that long to learn this pinyin. So learn this pinyin here, and then once you master that, then move on to the Bopomofo. Now they have this simplified versions of characters, and they have this traditional version. I will definitely learn both, because you're going to meet people from Taiwan, and like perhaps you'll be online, you typing, and a lot of the times, Taiwanese, they use the traditional characters. So it's good to get in the habit of using both sets. In mainland China, they mainly use the simplified version. Now, if you plan on getting real heavy into Chinese, like reading traditional text or whatnot, you have to learn how to read the traditional characters. Yeah, they're more difficult, but you have to do it. So definitely learn both. Just plan a schedule on, set something up, say, okay, I'm gonna learn it this way, learn that way. Normally I will assign 10 characters a week, but I think you have to do more for Chinese, because Chinese, all the words are it's all kanji. So just set something up, and just definitely learn both at the same, like these here, as you can see, this is a traditional character and this is a simplified character. Just learn them both at the same time. I will recommend that. So, and also they have different ways of speech, different styles of speech. Taiwanese accent. Mainland China, they speak Chinese differently. So I mean, from my experience, I met some people. They criticize the way I speak Chinese. They say, I have some people from mainland China say that I sound like a Taiwanese, and then I have some people from Taiwan say I sound like a person from mainland China when I speak. So you get some mean people. They will criticize you, especially when they're in these nasty politics. Okay, they will criticize you. I had a long time ago. I had someone tell me that they said, "Oh, you speak like Taiwanese. You must support the Taiwanese independence." I mean, just another mechanism to keep us all divided up. So I just want to let you guys know, from my experience, you may meet some people, these type of people. They will criticize your accent and whatnot, so be prepared for that. So I would say, learn both ways. Learn how to speak like a mainland China person, and learn how to speak like a person from Taiwan. I mean, why not? Just have fun with it. I can mimic Taiwanese and mimic mainland China. So I like both. I like people from Taiwan. I like people from mainland China. No discrimination here. So do both. Okay. So. I don't like to just focus on one and say, okay, there's nothing's right. They're both right. This traditional system is not better than the simplified system, or the simplified system isn't better than the traditional system. Now, I could say that the traditional, I guess I could say the traditional system, the characters they're very beautiful, because I don't know, it's just, many of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, but the traditional characters, I would prefer the traditional characters because they're like very beautiful written out compared to a simplified character, but still, I like both sets of characters, okay? Anyway, that's what you would do. Go ahead and learn both sets. And like I said, pinyin, it won't take you, that shouldn't take you no more than 2 weeks to learn pinyin. If you study every day, you know, practice, it shouldn't take you that long. Bopomofo, I think Bopomofo is a bit more complicated than pinyin as far as typing, because you have to know how, when you type, you have to know the actual tonation of the character. Like if you, for example, this character here, like tone, like from, tone, when you type this in Bopomofo, you, of course, you want to use these letters here. You have to know that it's a second tone. You have to know that. You know, whereas with pinyin, you just type in a C-O-N-G, tone, and that's it. You just choose. They give you a bar and choose a character, and that's it. If you know the character, then you just select that character. No tonation. So I think it's very beneficial to know the Bopomofo system. It will help you. It will definitely help you with the tonations. It's a good system to learn. So just learn both systems. Is it a lot? Yeah, it's a lot, but you know, once you get it down, you know, you'll be proud of you, feel proud of yourself because you know, you got both systems down. So just learn both systems. That's all I can tell you. Just learn both systems. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what makes Chinese more difficult than Japanese. Just the writing, and you know, the writing pronunciation. That's it. The writing pronunciation. Grammar is not so bad if you're a native English speaker or Spanish or whatever. It's not that bad. Japanese, just the grammar. You know, the grammar is, yeah, grammar and particles. Well, particles, those are part of grammar, but they don't use those particles in Chinese. So yeah, so if you want, just go ahead and learn Chinese first. If those of you who've learned Japanese or in the process of learning Japanese, and you want to learn Chinese, just, you know, learn Chinese. Like I told you, the only thing is difficult, which you probably already touched kanji already. Okay, learn Japanese, probably already touched kanji, and just the pronunciation and these two systems. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. And I've made a lot of video responses lately. So if you guys have any questions here or anything you want to ask me something, I'll make a video response. So thanks for viewing the video. Look forward to you guys' comments, questions. Hope this video was useful for you, beneficial, and thanks for viewing the video.